Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Taroni Talks. I hope there's music playing at least behind this one because we really need to figure that out. But I hope you guys are having a good day. Siddhi, say hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Did you miss me?
I missed you.
I hope
I
missed you too.
I felt like a limb was missing.
I hope you guys enjoyed the last podcast. It was just so wonderful. I was just telling Niharika about how amazing it was, and I am like a tarot newbie, so it was just like really insightful and stuff. But today
is going to be a little bit of a... I think it's going to be our first like angry podcast because we have some things to get off of our chests. And I'm going to be good cop and Sidhi's going to be bad cop. I just want to put it out there. And it's all just out of love because our audience, we want to like specifically talk to them every week, and our audience has been facing this collectively for like many months because these are the types of DMs we get very often.
Many months. All the time.
We really wanted to address this to our audience specifically, and kind of just talk to them and be like, girl, what's going on? Let's move on from this. Let's figure this out right now. So, yeah, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't want people that have left your life come back to your life. Like, if they're meant to come back,
or just
come back.
Toxic people. Like, why are you focusing on that so much? Why is every reading we get about wanting someone back, manifesting someone back? Like, okay, we can help you with that.
Shouldn't.
Should you want someone like... You shouldn't want someone like that in your life.
That's the thing. Like, I was just telling Siddhi that I don't think that they realize that these people are toxic or not good for them. Like, they're still not out of that, like, zone where they really, really care for this person and they think that this person's right for them. And I'm speaking from experience. It took me way too much time to, find out that this person is not good for me and I need to detach from this person. So... And no matter how woke and, spiritual I got, like, that had nothing to do with me just being, like, emotional and blind to, like, self-destructive behaviors of keep trying to hold on to this person so tight. So I don't think they know that, like, this person's not good for them.
Yeah, and, like, this was a point of disclaimer I was going to put out, like, one of the points. There are 2 points of disclaimer. First is that we're healers, but at the same time we're also human beings, and we're here to transmute our pain in forms of experiences and help you out with that. So it's not like I am yelling at you or teaching you something I haven't been through.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if today I'm giving you some tough love, it's because I wish I had someone in my life to tell me those same things.
That's so true. Someone was telling me this yesterday. Someone I was talking to. Oh, my friend. I was talking to my friend and I told her that we're going to do this. And she was like, I wish I had someone when I was younger to tell me to snap out of it. So that's just the main aim.
And it's not about just being younger or whatever. It's just like we have been through similar situations where we talked to a lot of people or wanted people in our lives and we didn't even realize they were toxic for us, they were bad for us, they were just nonsense. Like, it just pisses me off. And now that I see people and I see myself in them, and I'm just like, I wish I could help you out with that, but I guess like doing this is one thing. So I am not trying to show that I or Niharika, either of us, are not trying to show that we're superior to you in any way just because we've learned this. Because anybody can fall into manipulation. Saying the whole, when people say, could never be me, like it could be you very easily. That's exactly when the universe is like,
okay,
here you go. Now it's your turn.
That's so true.
So just wanted to say this was not coming out of a superiority complex or anything. No. And secondly, if you don't like that I'm yelling at you, I'm not going to yell at you, but I'm going to give you some tough love. And if you don't like the way I say things, it's fine. I do not care about being liked.
No, I
just care about you. No, I care about you.
Know.
but I do not care about being liked. As long as you get the message, as long as 10 years down the line, 2 weeks down the line, you're happy and you've understood, you've just realized that this will help you grow as a person, I'm fine. I'm fine with not being liked.
I know. I just want to interject here, and I just want to say, like, from however long I've known Siddhi, she has a way of saying things which is just direct to the point. Just she'll just tell it like it is, and a lot of people don't like that, and I don't know how she deals with that either. Like, she said she doesn't care about being liked, but I would literally crumble. Like, the amount of hate she receives on a daily basis for just having an opinion is I just, oh my god, I don't get it on like social media. I just don't get it. But she doesn't get it, and she keeps blazing through. So for her to like, and that's the thing, like, she has a very set number of people that she, you know, puts an effort into like talking to, and like being like, I want to help you, like I need you to listen to me, and this is good for you, and I don't care if you hate me, but you know, you need to get, like, this is gonna I need you to like hear me out. So I really think that like she's not going to say anything problematic, but you should try to take like all of this with a grain of salt and just hear her out. Even if it's kind of harsh, it's going to like hit you, right?
Grain of sugar is more like it, because I don't think they need more salt here. They just need like sweetness. And Niharika is gonna be like the calm person here.
I will balance it out.
At the end of the day, I just want you to know that this is not me coming from a superior perspective, that I am better than you, because it's not happened to me in a long time. All of this has happened to me, and this is me speaking from my experience, and this is us just sharing our thoughts, and this is why we have this platform, so we can connect with you guys deeply. But anyway, Niharika, would you like to introduce?
Actually, no. I think this podcast is just you taking center stage and just going off, and I will interject when I feel like I should say something.
Okay. So, the thing is, we have been receiving a lot of readings, and just people, not just readings, but we have been receiving a lot of questions, and people in my life, because I am a psychology student and I have people come up to me all the time about their problems and stuff, but I'm not a psychology student anymore. Like, I'm done studying and stuff, but people still come up to me for advice, and whenever they want to talk about something in specific, because I don't know if a lot of you follow me on my personal Instagram, but I keep posting tidbits about being high value, and how we should let men or anybody who's treating us badly and is ugly, let them out of our lives.
Oh God.
And we've just been receiving a lot of questions about how can I get my ex back, or how can I manifest this person, how can I just have this friend back in my life, and like they were really mean to me, they don't talk to me. Just like you guys start out with the question, explaining your situation with them, and it's horrific.
Yeah.
It's terrible that you're allowing this to happen to you. How? Imagine God made you, God gave you this beautiful body, and you're letting some third fucking person who does not. I'm so sorry.
No, please, that's fine. You can curse.
But you're just letting someone who was never there for you, never, the person never cared about you, anything like that. You're letting them put you down like that.
Yeah.
You're letting them make you feel sad. Why? Because they didn't text you?
Yeah.
Is dick that important? That's my only question in this podcast. Like, to the people who keep asking this question to us about like them manifesting their ex, or about them wanting their ex back, is dick really that important to you? How good is that dick? How amazing do you have to be in bed? Even if you are, does it matter? Like, is that man paying your bills? Is that man helping you get somewhere in life?
I think,
forget the man part. Okay, I might sound sexist, or just,
no,
but
no,
like
no.
Forget the man part. But imagine if you have a friend like that.
Yeah.
Are they leading you towards the growth and happiness that you need?
coming from a perspective of somebody, like you said, that this has happened to, I've also tried to keep friendships and relationships in my life that didn't need to be there anymore, and they had become something really bad. And I think that's the problem. Whenever you choose to, whenever someone leaves and you want them back, or you want to keep them really desperately, or you just want to keep them, it's because of codependency. I feel like you've reached a point where it doesn't matter if they were good to you, it doesn't matter if you guys have issues, it doesn't matter if they were good and bad or bad and bad. It was just like you were so used to them, and they probably made you so dependent on them, or you just ended up being dependent on them to a point where now that they're suddenly like, okay, I'm done with this and moving on, it's very hard for you to cope up with that loss. And I feel like a lot of abandonment like comes into play here, where it's like, but you were all I had, and then now you're gone, so like what am I supposed to do? And I feel like when you're younger especially, this is so easy to happen. Like your first love, it's so easy to just form an identity of yourself to please that person. And this goes for like men and women alike. It's like when you're, you know, when you're experiencing your first love, it's so easy to just be like, I will be whatever you want me to be, like in whatever way you want me to be there for you, I will be there for you. And when that goes away, sometimes if it's not healthy, it's just a huge loss that you have to face. So we get that it's like difficult, but that's what like we want to convey through this podcast, is that you don't have to, like, you have to not focus on manifesting them back. You have to focus on moving on from that, no matter how hard it is to do that. It's very important for you to be like, okay, they have left for a reason. Like whenever you think about a friend that you're not friends with anymore, you have to think about the fact that they left for a reason. And if they're meant to come back to you, they will. Like there's no force in this world that can keep you away from your soul family, or can keep you away from the people who are supposed to be in your life. They will come back. If they need to come back, they will come back. But if they don't need to, then they won't. And maybe not now, but maybe 6 years down the line, you will understand why. Like it'll make sense when you find someone, when you find people who are more, and again, this is completely just coming out of experience. When I found my people, when I found my core group of friends who were so beautiful and so supportive and just make my day just by saying hi to me, Siddhi included, it's like I think about why I ever settled for that type of friendship, or that type of relationship where it was just neglect, and it was just, you know, there was so much distancing. And I mean, now I'm like cool. That's the thing. I'm cool with all of them at this point. But in that stage of our lives, we were so caught up in our own like thing that we weren't able to, and we were young and we were growing up, that we weren't able to be there for each other. We weren't able to understand what it was like, because we weren't fulfilled within ourselves. We were going through our own shit. So now it's like, even if we're not as close, we can still come back to each other and like have that. But like I said, if they were meant to be in my life, they would be in my life, and they are. But if they weren't, they wouldn't be back. Like the friends who I'm done with, who I have literally nothing left to like say to, or I just don't want to associate myself with anymore, I don't have them in my life anymore. And it hurt so bad back then. But now I look back and I'm like, this is why. Like this person would have just been stuck in this type of behavior with me, and I don't know why I ever tolerated it in the first place. Like when it's good, but when it's bad. And when you have to say that, when you have to justify it and be like, yeah, but when it's good, it's really good, you run, because that means that it's not always good, and there's something severely dented in that friendship or that relationship. So I genuinely feel like you should run whenever you feel like you have to justify that the good times are good, or that you have fun, or whatever. Like that should just come naturally. People should just know that, you know, like you don't have to.
Yeah, it should be good all the time, you know. This is what I hate about like the whole, you know, I wanted to keep him and I wanted him back, because you can have like the tiniest waist, you can have the most bomb pussy, you can have the biggest ass, and you can have like the most beautiful hair, you could be the smartest person on earth. If you think Niharika and I are smart, yeah, And I'm like a romantic at heart and everything. Like, I am pure Venusian, Libra rising, Taurus sun. I am all the Venus energy that's there. But you have to realize that you can be all of those things. You can be literally Beyonce. Beyonce gets cheated on.
By
Beyonce
Jay-Z.
got cheated on.
Have you compared them? I'm sorry, I don't know about Jay-Z's intellect, but something tells me, I don't know. I don't want to hate on Jay-Z right now. It's fine.
He's smart.
Okay.
He's a Sagittarius. He's smart. But I just want to say, you can have all of these things. You can work out 10 times a week.
Whatever it is.
You can do everything possible.
Whatever your standard of like perfection is,
Yeah, and he still wouldn't like you. Why? Because he doesn't want to.
Yep.
He doesn't want you. I am sorry. Not everybody wants you in their life. It's just the way it is. When people want you, they will want you at your worst. Yeah. People will want to be there for you. People will want to support you. I mean, like, you know, when people are just always upset about, oh, he left me when I was depressed, like, or he left me when I had like a certain problem, and I'm just like, that's not how things are supposed to be.
Yeah, there's also like a huge gap in maturity. I'm sorry to say this, but like most boys I know that are our age, and this is really not meant to shit on men, this whole podcast, but it just I'm a girl and most of my friends are straight, so I only deal with problematic boy stories. I don't deal with problematic girl stories as much, but if I did, I would like completely tell you full transparency. I do know some girls who are like messed up, but I just majorly know boy stories, which is why I'm telling you. But most boys in our age group seem to be very they seem to think that displaying emotional unavailability gives them some sort of brownie point, like high amongst their friends, and it just makes them cool.
That's such like stereotypical high school kindergarten.
Yeah, but that's
shit.
The thing.
Like, you would think high school
exactly.
anymore.
You would think that this behavior would stop in high school, but we're in our 20s now, early 20s, and I have not met like a single early 20 boy who has. I've met like one. I have a couple of people who are like who have their shit together, but there's so many people who are just not ready for anything real. And the thing is that the more that you try to chase this, why won't he come back to me? Because he's emotionally unavailable. And the thing is, maybe he left or she left or they left because you were meant to figure some stuff out for yourself, and you were meant to grow for yourself, and you can't. And the codependency was getting scarily like high, so you needed to like move away and not be dependent on that person anymore. I strongly do believe, no matter who you are and no matter what you're going through and no matter how much belief you have in the universe or God or whatever, there is a divine form up there who's always trying to protect you from something really bad happening to you. So when the worst happens to you, you need to know that it could have been worse than the worst. And especially if you're someone who is spiritual or religious and has like, you know, not the best luck you feel, or bad things keep happening to you, or things don't work out with you, you have to know that that's for a very good reason. And you can,
and it sounds cheesy as hell, but trust me,
it's
like
so cliche, but
I've known people in my life, there have been people in my life who've had the worst. Like, the thing is, there's a lack of patience. We live in a capitalist society, and there's just such a lack of patience. You can't wait for things anymore. Like, even with manifestation, you want to manifest everything so quickly, and it's just like, wait, slow down, think about what's going on. You need a lot of patience. And I feel like with the same thing, you need to have a lot of patience, and you need to just slow down, even with love, even with money, in your career, everything. You just need to have a lot of patience for things to work out for you. It's not cliche, or it's not us trying to scare you that things could have been worse. It's just the truth.
And we don't, exactly. We don't mean it like that. Like, oh, but so many people have it worse. No, not like that. I mean, you could have had it worse, and you were kind of, you know, like protected from that. And for me personally, like,
Mm-hmm.
not to preach this onto anyone, but when anything bad happens to me, or I face like luck that's not good, or whenever I feel like when I look back at it, I'm like, that was karma. Like, that's what I feel for myself. I'm not saying that's what it was for you.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm like, that was
100%.
definitely karma getting my ass, or it was me being protected from something horrible. It was me being shielded in a way. That's why this little bad thing, or this bad thing had to happen to me. But if this wouldn't have happened, something terrible would have happened. Like, even worse would have happened somewhere down the line to me or the people involved in that case. So I think that, I know it's really hard, and I'm not like that either, where I can just, when something bad is happening to me, be like, this is for a reason, everything happens for... No, I'm gonna whine and moan and bitch about it, like, in the moment. But the point is that once you finish releasing all the emotion that you feel attached to a bad situation in your life, you need to also reach a point where you can look back, reflect, realize why this may be happening to you, accept it, and that's the only way to get through it and get past it, is what I believe personally.
Yeah, shadow work is equally important. Than, like, whenever people talk about being spirituality, being all love and light, and just being, you know, happy and giving out so much love, you don't realize that there's a lot of shadow work that goes behind it. You need to release a lot of negativity. You need to accept that you have shadow traits, you know, because no human being is perfect. We're all like yin and yang energies. Yin is supposed to be dark energy, and you're supposed to accept, like, this is a part of you. It's not a monster. You're not a monster.
For sure.
And if someone doesn't want you, you don't become a monster.
Oh yeah.
Or there's not something there's wrong with you.
Yeah, your value does not decrease
You can-
based on what other people think of you or perceive you to be, or want you or don't want you. Your value stays the same. It's about them choosing different, not necessarily better.
Yes. I have this other friend. She keeps telling me all the time, like, whenever a man doesn't find me attractive, or not attractive, but like whenever I'm talking to a man and he doesn't like me the way I like him, I just become like completely repulsed. It gives her the ick.
Oh, okay.
I feel like a lot of us need to adapt that into our lives, because I feel like what women do is we chase every shiny object. Like, every man who gives us attention, we're like, okay, let's talk to him, not realizing, do I even want to talk to this person?
Do I need this person?
Do I think like they're do I need this person?
And this
in our
applies
life?
to
And like,
this applies to people who are like finding love. Like, you have to also choose quality of love. You can't you cannot just be like, oh, someone's interested in me, so I'm going to entertain this person. Is this person worth your time? I think that's the thing. Like, before you reach a point where you indulge in relationships or find love, you need to like be strong within yourself. Like, you need to fix your confidence in the ground, and, you know, set those roots, like, really, like, ground yourself in yourself before you can be like, I'm ready for a relationship. You're probably not. You probably need to, you know, make sure that you're okay. How do you feel about yourself? How do you measure your worth? Does it come unconditionally? Are you worthy because you are, or are you worthy because you do something or say something or behave a certain way?
Do you attach your worth to something that is tangible?
Yes.
Do you attach your worth to your beauty? Is that something you want in your partner? Ask yourself these questions. Explore yourself.
For sure.
And I'm not saying explore yourself in the way like go out, be a hoe, whatever. Like,
no,
that's not something I condone. Like, with young girls especially when you're 15, 16, you can go read a book and still find something deep within yourself. Connect to arts, connect to music, because connecting to a piece of art is still like connecting with yourself. It resonated with you, right? You can do that. You can talk to your friends. You can start creating. Alchemic sex is better than real life sex.
That's so
Alchemic sex is creativity. When you start creating something, when you start drawing, or when you start indulging in practices that make you feel fulfilled, that's amazing. The mental orgasm you get out of that, Mind
This
blowing.
is true.
That will never compare to any physical orgasm you'll ever
And I
get.
just want to touch upon this like a little more when what you said about sleeping around. I feel like it's so normalized, and it's like if you don't sleep around, if you're not a sexual object between the ages of whatever to whatever, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, the whole phase.
Yeah, that's happened with me.
The whole phase.
Like it's just
Same,
if
same,
I'm
same.
not interested in sleeping with boys, if I'm not interested in hooking up with boys, it's like, oh, you're in college and you still haven't had your first kiss. Like, no, I haven't. Like, why? That was such a huge part of my youth, where just because I was a 20-something-year-old and I hadn't done anything with a boy, I was like, you're like there's something wrong with you. Like, you're so like weird. Like, what, boys are not interested in you? Like, what is it? And then society makes you feel like something's wrong with you for not being like, for not being hypersexual, not like having boys, or
starting an OnlyFans at the age of 17, and like there's literally it boggles my mind how there's literally like people on the internet that are like, you pay them and they give you a training to start your OnlyFans career at the age of 18. Like, I promise you, like, I'm not slut shaming or anything, but that's not your only career option. I'm sorry, like, sex work is not the only career option. Many people take it. There's a lot of repercussions. When you turn like 20, 21, when you want to leave that world, it's gonna scar you.
And plus,
so any decision you make,
just
be really careful.
Yeah, and plus,
just be really careful with
it's
things.
Very, like, it takes a lot of mental toughness to be a sex worker. Like, the amount of thick skin that you have to grow to be a sex worker is insane. I do not know how these women, like, hats off to them. They're so, like, resilient to, the amount of shit they have to take from people on the internet every day for being a sex worker is unmatched. Like, I see these comments. Mia Khalifa, she's doing so much. Like, people shamed her for having an OnlyFans account. Have you seen the comments under that poor girl's Instagram for having an OnlyFans account? Oh, you were triggered by working in the porn industry for so many years, but you are okay with taking your clothes off. Consent! Have you heard of it? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. I know this is a completely different tangent, but it's mind-boggling to me to think that men do not understand whoever, there were women shaming her as well. People do not understand the concept of consent, which is so basic. Like, on OnlyFans, she consents to everything that goes out. She is her own boss. She can do whatever she wants. She can do whatever she's comfortable with. When she was working in the porn industry, it was hard for her to have control
and
over
she
what
was
she
young.
was doing. And she was young. It's so easy to be manipulated when you're young. This is what, again, circling back to our point, when you're 18 years old and people are pressuring you to open up to your sexuality, or people are pressuring you to hook up with boys or hook up with girls. If you're a boy, with boys, it's a huge issue as well. It's like, oh, you're not a man, what, you don't hook up with girls? Are you gay, bro? Like, are you like something?
It is so irritating.
I'm like, oh my god, are you that insecure in your masculinity that, like, someone who doesn't want to be sexual threatens you that much that, like, you have to call him names and, like, question his masculinity just because he's not interested? And then, like, these young boys and these young girls go out and they're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Even if I don't like it or I'm not interested in, I have to force myself to be interested in this stuff. So I'm gonna go do that. And it's scarring, like, because when you grow up, you realize that half of that stuff you didn't really consent to that much. Like, you did it because you were supposed to, but you didn't really want to.
Yeah.
And it just...
Yeah, and like, the bottom line is just... It's okay to be a late bloomer. You don't have to do things just because your friends are doing them, or like someone on the internet has a boyfriend or something. I remember, like, I was in the 6th or 7th grade. I wasn't really interested in boys, or like I wasn't interested in boys only at the time, because I didn't even know. Like, I was so... I'm just like in my own zone. I was reading, I was talking to my friends, and like I was just being a child, as one should be. But then everybody around me, like you know how the culture was in our school. Everybody around you just sort of peer pressures you, and if you want to be like liked or popular or something like that, you kind of have to do certain things. And for me, it was just like everybody was talking about, like, you know, I have a crush on this boy or I have a crush on that boy, and I just like picked a random football player in on the field, and I was just like, oh, he's cute. Didn't have any feelings, nothing. I didn't even have feelings for anybody until I was like 16, 17. So imagine like the age gap over there. And I just like picked a random football player, didn't know his name, learned his name later on, but nothing really happened. And I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. It's like everyone has so many.
And that's okay. And I just want to tell people, like, even if you feel like that at 20, 30, literally. 40, 50, 60, 70, even if there's like Dada Dadis listening to this and you feel like you're not interested in other human beings, I get you. Like, it's completely fine. You don't have to be like, you know, infatuated or in a sexual energy all the time.
Not at all. Not ever. If you don't want to be a sexual being, you don't want to be interested in people, you don't have to be. There's no, and that's the thing. Like, it's a good point that you know, included everybody, because in high school it's your peers, in college it's your peers, and after college it's your family. Get married, have babies, get married, have babies, get married, have babies. And it's like, what if I don't want to? Like, what if that's not something that I'm interested in? You know, it's fine. Like, we're here to validate you, even if any type of person is putting pressure on you to find a significant other or whatever. We're here to tell you that if you don't want one, you don't want God to get one, man. Just forget about it. Just
don't place your worth on your genitals or your secondary sex characteristics, or don't place
or society.
I'm just saying, like, don't place your worth and how masculine or how feminine you are or how sexy you are or how hot you are on your ability to attract men or attract women, or your ability to have this much sex or
that much,
your ability to be infatuated all the time or keep talking to men or playing with men or whatever. Because you know that's like dangerous,
and that never stops.
You can't and you can't attach your word to someone that's gonna leave eventually.
Oh wow.
Like, I'm sorry if that's offensive, but everybody leaves. You don't even carry your body to your grave. Like, you don't even carry this body to death or to heaven or anything. You're just a soul. This is just meat suit. And everybody will eventually leave. Slowly everybody perishes away. And this gets a little existential, but keep that mindset. Nothing is permanent. Nothing. Not your clothes, not your jewelry, not your tattoos. Nothing is permanent.
Only your soul.
It's all gonna go one day. Only
your soul is the only...
And that's not even your own.
That's
a whole different topic. If you have that divinity within you, do not want your ex back. Do not want that toxic relationship back. Because you're dishonoring, you're disrespecting that God in you.
For sure. And do not want that friend of yours that used to be your best friend, but somehow ended up comparing herself to you all the time or whatever. I don't know. I actually have not, touched wood, had many bad friendships in life, but I guess like the friend who is constantly like lightly quote unquote bullying you, or you know, is trying to give you tough love, but is actually just criticizing you all the time for everything that you do. That's not your friend. That's just someone who's probably jealous of you. And if they're not in your life anymore, good, bye. Like, you don't need them. So this applies to literally anybody that has left your life or should be.
And this is tough love coming from two Venusians. Just remember, Niharika and I are both very romantic at heart. She's a Libra rising, I'm a Libra rising. Just
so
cheesy romantic, especially with each other. You should see our good morning texts.
Our chats are just
we needed to give you this.
So believe in that. Like,
we needed to give you this.
Believe in the idea of like finding that, you know, soulmate, and like love with your entire heart, and just be as cheesy as you want and wear your rose colored glasses, but remember to like take them off from time to time, and when someone leaves, to let them go, and to be strong enough to leave somebody who's not good for you. Like, you have to have that balance constantly, and that's just some big sister advice.
Yeah, and like, you know, you can't be focused on this. Is especially to people who are like going to university now and like starting their new lives and stuff. There is spiritual warfare going on in the world. There's literal warfare going on in the world, and you care about some dumb boy not texting you back. Well, he's not going to. Just,
You shouldn't want him to.
He's not going to. You shouldn't want him to. If he doesn't text you back, fuck him.
Yeah, and
Not physically, but
yeah,
like,
and it doesn't matter how long you were in love with him. It doesn't matter how he was the love of your life. It does not, honestly, coming from someone who used to think like this, it doesn't matter how important he was to you and how much you sacrificed for him and whatever the hell you felt about him. The second you choose to let him go, just watch what happens to your life. Just watch your, and again, to go back to the part where of shadow work and healing, this whole whatever process of healing and letting him go, it's going to be ugly, it's going to be disgusting, and it's going to feel horrible. But when you when you go through the ups and downs, which may last for months or years or days, when you finally reach that boiling point, that saturation point, and you're like, okay, and you won't even realize it. Like, you won't wake up one day and be like, I'm over him. It doesn't happen, because memories are going to creep up, especially if it's someone, a friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend that meant so much to you. Memories are going to creep up even when you feel like you're over them. But the point is to go through that motion. The point is that one day in your healing journey, instead of being triggered and being upset, you will be able to be triggered, be upset, and help, like, hold your own hand and be like, it's okay, you're fine without this person, you're doing well, life is giving you so many better opportunities, don't worry about it, you're gonna be fine even if this person's not with you anymore. That's when you know that you're healing. And it's ugly and it lasts so many years. It's annoying. Like, it's annoying for me. I need things to happen like this. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm okay, this is done. Okay, so I need to be over this person tomorrow. Okay, this is done. Okay, I need to be done with this. I need to stop feeling like sometimes I feel like a hypocrite, you know.
Niharika gives herself a deadline. She's like, if this relationship is over, I need to be over him in the next 72 hours because I have a meeting to go to, and I will not be a mess over there. She is like that.
I'm like,
but you guys need to realize, like,
to be patient.
It takes a lot of strength. And it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of your courage. And you just need to know that even if, like, there are days you're just calling yourself a dummy and you think, like, you're a dumbass and, like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Say that, okay, maybe at one point of time I was being a dumbass, but I've grown from that and I've moved on, and I promise to myself that I'll never do that again. Ever again.
And just remember to, like, be kinder. Like, after you call yourself a dummy for a day, like, the next day be like, hey, I was kind of harsh on you, I'm sorry for calling you a dummy so many times, it's okay, you're not that person anymore, right? We're gonna be fine. Like, talk to yourself the way you would talk to your best friends. That's my biggest piece of advice.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. Talk to yourself the way that you would treat your best friends. Like, think about it. When you say something hateful about yourself, think about if your best friend was in your place, would you ever dare to speak to her or him like that? No, you wouldn't. You would still make excuses. Like, sometimes you would make excuses, or even if you don't excuse their behavior, you would tell them nicely, or you would be there for them and coax them out of this difficult situation. Why can't you give yourself that same treatment? Like, it was one of the most liberating feelings to be my own best friend. It has helped me grow so much and become so much more confident when I started.
Yeah, it raises your vibration.
So
you start attracting people who are similar to you.
That's so
in that
true.
way.
When I started treating myself with love and respect, I suddenly was surrounded by friends who only loved and respected me and nothing else, and I didn't even have to, like, chase it. And this, like, I'm saying that because I was chasing it for so long. So I just realized one day, I was like, I just stopped and I gave all that love that I had for other people to myself. And then other people just came to me. People who love me the way I love myself, and the love I had to give them, they were worth it. That's the kind of people I started attracting.
Yeah, because you know, no matter how much you love that other person, but if you love that other person more than you love yourself, they're never going to value you. They're never going to want you.
For sure.
Because you don't even like yourself. Why should they like you?
Yeah, that's the biggest lesson I learned. Like, when I hated myself and I expected my best friends and my boyfriend to love me, I look back at it now, I'm like, you would just say only exclusively shitty things about yourself. I'm pretty sure at one point they started believing it as well, because you only portrayed yourself as a bad, shitty person. Why do you think that they would see you as anything different and try to be nice to you if you are not nice to yourself? Like, just doesn't happen.
The universe does that. Like, you know, you keep telling yourself, I'm a piece of shit, I will never have love in my life. And the universe is like, you know what? Here you go. That's what you want.
Literally.
And I'm going to give it to you.
The second you like...
And if you keep saying that I love myself and you keep acting like you love yourself, most of manifestation is acting like you already have all of these things. Yeah. If you want to be hot, pretend you're hot. Yeah. Just act like you're a hot girl. That's all it takes. If you want to be beautiful, act like you're the most beautiful person in the room.
For sure.
And I actually act like that, and it works wonders.
And it's not delusional. It actually gives you so much, like, because even if I see, like, it's very rare that I see someone and I'm like, that person's ugly, unless I know them and I know that they're like a really shitty human being. That's the only time I'm like, okay, that person's really like ugly. But it's very rare that I think that. But if someone who doesn't look like conventionally hot or whatever, but they carry themselves with like this confidence, you don't even think about them being like unattractive or not conventionally attractive. You just enjoy that like vibe so much that it doesn't matter what they look like. Yeah, it doesn't, when they exude confidence and like have like this like lively behavior, you don't care what they look like, even if they're hot, even if they're not hot. Like, it doesn't matter, because you're more attracted to their personality, you're more attracted to the energy they put out versus what their external meat suit looks like. Like, that's, you know, it just becomes the least of your worries. So try to like do that for yourself. Just love yourself enough to be like, whatever I look like, man, I'm good, I'm secure, I'm grounded within my identity. And it's a journey, obviously. It's not an overnight like thing, but you have to start somewhere, and it gets you.
And Niharika recently, like, she just talked about self-respect and honoring yourself and stuff, and I feel like the first step towards self-respect and the first step towards self-love is cutting out toxic people in your life. Cut out that ex. You don't need him. You don't need that best friend who keeps talking shit about you, but you need her because you don't need her at all. Like, you want her around because you feel lonely. Start being comfortable in your loneliness. Start being comfortable being alone. Entertain yourself. Learn a new hobby. The internet is full of... You can literally be on your phone all day and entertain yourself without talking to someone else.
That's true.
It's that easy.
And another thing,
just honor yourself and respect yourself by cutting out toxic people, and don't keep asking questions like, am I going to manifest him back? No, you're not. Because
you shouldn't.
That's like just...
You actually
that's
might.
A love spell. You shouldn't want that.
You actually might, but you shouldn't, because that's gonna, like, I saw this tweet the other day. I forgot to save it, but it said something along the lines of don't manifest these things back into your life, because you might be doing this thing where you're prolonging a karmic cycle when you're supposed to end it then and there. Instead of that, by wanting it back, you're prolonging the end of a cycle. Just end it. And this is, I mean, I'm not going to say just end it, like just cut him out, because I'm the worst at cutting people out. Like, I do not know how to do it. They have to literally physically walk away from me for them to be cut out. I cannot do it. So I'm also learning this. So like, she'll say cut him out. I can't say that because I don't know how to.
Yeah. Cut him out. And if you can't do it, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Send in $2 and I will cut out your ex or any trashy family member you don't want to talk to for free.
Only friends.
It will take no time and effort. It's only friends. Like that's the business we're starting with Taroni. Only friends. I will cut out any toxic boyfriend. If you, for an additional $5, I will actually go yell at him.
It's true, she's good at that. She's very scary. So if you ever need someone, or she'll, you know what, she's a good writer, she'll draft you a breakup message. You can just copy paste it, send it to him. You're done.
100%. I would totally do that. And a scathing breakup message to the point where he'll question himself and his like place in humanity. He's just gonna, you know what? Just DM me. I'm here for you.
Yeah. So if you need help breaking up with a best friend or boyfriend or a girlfriend or family member, please contact Taroni on Instagram. Just DM us. We'll help you out with
this
that.
Is a part of our new services.
Yes. Oh, alert! Brand new service alert. We now provide breakup texts. We draft them for you.
Yes.
So yeah, I think okay, and we're closing an hour. Wow, I didn't think we had that much to talk about when it came to this. Like I thought we'd be done after like 30 minutes of like being like, don't take it back, don't take it back. But I guess it's been an hour and it's. I could go on still, but like we should end it.
Yeah.
But I hope that like you enjoyed this chill conversation podcast of us just reflecting on our life choices and your life choices and kind of asking everybody to just collectively snap out of it, because that person ain't shit and you need to realize your worth ASAP.
Yeah, just focus on your bag, focus on your hustle.
Yeah.
You don't need to care about some idiot texting you back or some idiot wanting you in their lives. Like it doesn't matter at all. And now we're closing.
Yeah. So
anyway.
Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast and you don't need anyone, literally, and follow us.
Except for us. We're here for you.
You need us because we help you. Don't leave us. But we just, this one line just contradicted the entire 50 minutes of the podcast where we're like, you don't need anyone but yourself. I'm like, but don't leave me though. Like, you need me.
But you need us.
Yeah. But no, for sure, you don't need anybody. Just focus on yourself and learn to be there for yourself and you'll be good, a powerhouse. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, thank you for listening to us and follow us on Instagram, because that's where all of the main stuff happens. You can talk to us there, DM us, and we'll send you your breakup letters and everything else. You can book a reading, an astrology reading or a tarot reading from me or Siddhi. Leaving all the links down below. You can also DM us on Instagram if you like meditate with candles around you, and I will read your candle flame for you. And I think that's it. How much? Any other promo? No, I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, our YouTube. So this will be up on YouTube as well, and we are getting to making a video. I promise it's coming. It's just not aligning. It's just not happening. But I'm trying my best to. And Siddhi's trying her best. We're trying our best to...
Maybe by Christmas you
will have some other video other than this podcast on that channel. But we're trying hard to put content out there as well. So subscribe to it. I promise something will come out of it sometime soon. And just want to thank you guys. Like, thank you for it's just been barely a month and we already have so many people listening. Like, I was looking at the stats and we have a lot of people listening to our podcast and a lot of big things happening. So thank you so much for always being there, and thank you for the kind messages, like the DMs and like everything.
They're so sweet.
I literally cry. Like, I sit in my room and sob every time I get like a nice message. So thank you so much, and thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.